Welcome to season 2 of Where Passion Meets Purpose. I'm your host, Jen Mentasana. Each week, I sit down with entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and trailblazers who share their raw, real stories of perseverance, resilience, and building a life and business with impact. We talk about everything from entrepreneurship and family to purpose and living fully. My goal is to inspire you to start that dream, push through the hard seasons, and wake up every single day ready to live the life you were born to live with passion and purpose. Welcome back, everyone, to Where Passion Meets Purpose. I'm your host, Jen Mentasana. I am so grateful to all of you for coming and just being here, watching or listening to this show each week, subscribing to the show. And honestly, I would not be doing this if it wasn't for all of you who show up every single week. This podcast, we're on season 2 now, has been in the works since it's been over a year. And I am just so grateful to be doing this every day, hoping that I'm making an impact in some capacity in your life. And if nothing else, it's just something to listen to while you're driving, picking up your kids from school, or sitting in traffic or whatever. And there might be a little nugget of information that sticks with you that makes an impact. So I am just so grateful for you. And if you are listening, but you haven't subscribed yet, please do download. And so you don't miss an episode. And that way you'll get the show every single week. And I am really happy to be coming to you today just by myself, just you and I. I'm here in the studio. And I wanted to talk to you about something that's been really on my mind a lot lately. It's been coming up a lot for me, and that is the idea that everything is energy. And I know that's not a new concept. We've been talking about this in society for a long time, that, the metaphysical energy is all around us, and we are actually energetic beings operating on this planet, spiritual, energetic beings. And one of the things that I've really noticed lately is how much energy is floating around in the universe and how much stuff is coming at us all at one time. We're on social media constantly. We're listening to the news. We have so much more information coming at us, and that is fueling information that is creating energy. And I want you to think about how that information is impacting you. When you go on social media and you're scrolling and something pops up and you get like a hit of some kind, that's an intuitive hit or an energetic bounce that's coming at you, and it could be a positive or it could be a negative. And I want you to be really aware of what's happening to you when you're watching the news, when you're watching television. My husband is really into these TV shows that we watch late at night, and I've stopped watching them because they're really graphic and intense. And I noticed that my energy going to bed was really not positive. And it's so important that what we're consuming right now is keeping us in a positive state and frame of mind. And so that brought me back really to about 15 years ago when I first got my coach certification. I was also certified in something called energy leadership. And what energy leadership is, it's this complex idea around the fact that we all carry energy throughout our day, throughout our lives, and how we're operating, the state of mind that we're in is impacting our mood, our relationships, our work life, our home life. And so it's really important to be checking in constantly with where you are at in your energy levels. Now, this particular index that I studied and was trained in, the Energy Leadership Index, is all about the idea that there are 7 different levels of energy. The first 2 are negative energy, and that would be lethargic, or I call it victim energy. I was actually trained that it was called victim energy. They've since changed it to call it lethargic energy, which is level 1 energy. Level 2 energy is more combative energy. It's anger, it's frustration, it's combative. So there's a little bit of energy there versus a victim mindset, which is almost lethargic, no energy. So if that makes sense, those 2 are really kind of negative energy. And then when you get to level 3, it's more of a complacent kind of, no energy whatsoever. You're not positive or negative. You're just kind of complacent. And, a lot of people operate in life in that level 3 energy. They're able to get through their day in level 3 energy, not really being negative, but also not having a lot of positive energy throughout their day. And so the goal is to really elevate your energy regularly and get above that level 1, 2, and 3 energy. The next level is service level energy, level 4 energy. So that's a positive, right? When you're in service, if you're being of service to someone, that's you giving energy, you giving of yourself. That's something like caretaker energy. So if you're in a position where you're always, maybe you're a nurse or you're a caretaker for someone that's elderly, or you're a mom and you're constantly in that caretaker mode for your children, you're operating from a positive place because you're giving of your energy, but you're also not receiving. And so that's why that's only a level 4 energy. Then when you get up to level 5 energy, that's where we really can see positive people. When you look around and you see people that are really positive and they have this great attitude, it's that win-win energy. That's where most positive people that you know are living. A lot of salespeople, a lot of, business people who are really positive and productive in their lives, who are looking for the win-win in life. Like, let me do something for you and you can do something for me and together we win. And that's really amazing positive energy to be in, especially if you own a business, if you're an entrepreneur, and or if you're just someone that works with customers all day. Maybe you're selling something all day and you're giving something, but you're getting something back in return. It's super important that you check in and make sure that you're in that level 5 energy for yourself and for the people that you're working with, your customers, your employees, everyone. And then as we get further along, we are moving up to level 6 energy. And level 6 energy is where we find wisdom. It's where we go beyond just that win-win attitude. And now we're resonating on a higher vibration. You can actually feel the energetic wisdom coming through you. That is a level of energy that some of the greatest thought leaders have. Maybe, some leaders that you know of, and today I can't think of someone on the top of my head right this minute, but someone that's really operating on this level of wisdom. I might say Jordan Peterson, someone like that. He's very intelligent. He's constantly always looking at trying to find the answers and create wisdom for society. That's an elevated level of energy. And we can aspire to get to that most people aren't living in that wisdom energy all day, every day. That's something that most of us aspire to get to. And then the final level, level 7, is what we call creation. They've changed the words on me. It used to be called something else. We call that creation. And the creation level energy is what we're talking about here, is like walking, breathing spiritual beings on earth, like the Dalai Lama, Mother Teresa, some of the most spiritual beings, I would even say at the time that he was alive, Jesus Christ was probably level 7 energy. Those are spiritual beings who are in oneness with their higher power, living and resonating in that energy constantly. And that is something that I think we could all aspire to get to someday. Most of us will probably not be walking, living spiritual beings on earth in this lifetime, but that's something that we can aspire to do and work towards every single day. So I just wanted to lay that out for you so you could get some understanding on where I'm taking this conversation today, because getting back to what I opened with, the idea that there's so much information coming at us right now, whether that's social media, the news, and just the energy that's fueling people right now. There's a lot of negativity going on, but there's also some enlightenment going on. There's some amazing things that are happening in the universe right now. And it's up to you to decide where you want to be, where you want to resonate, how you want to show up in the world. Do you want to be impacted every single day by what you're hearing on the news and the negativity and who's doing this, what to who? I don't care if you're talking about politics or what's happening in neighborhoods. Where do you want to spend your energy every day? And I think it's really important that we focus on making sure that we're checking in with ourselves on where our energy is on a daily basis. I bring this up especially right now because I've noticed that I've been getting in some arguments with my husband lately. And I've noticed that it's not really the topic that we're arguing about. It's how we're showing up in our energy, and we're reacting to each other's energy, and we're triggering each other. And it's not really the topic that's the issue. And so I want you to take some time before you get into a discussion with anyone. It could be about finances, politics, an issue in a friendship. Check in with where your energy is before you go into that conversation, because how you show up is going to make a difference in the outcome of that conversation. If you're two people in combative energy showing up, having a conversation, you're not going to get anywhere, right? And if you're two people showing up in victim energy, you're both not going to show up with anything. And there's no process going forward with that. If you're someone that's showing up in a negative energy and you have someone, like, let's say, combative energy, and you have someone that's in your life that has victim energy, that conversation is not going to go well. And that victim is going to feel even worse about themselves. And it's not going to move forward any sort of solution to whatever it is that you're dealing with. So it's super important that we're checking in with ourselves on where our energy is, what we're feeling, where we're getting triggered, why the things that are bothering us are bothering us. If you see something on social media, I'm going to back up really quick. And I mentioned this in my book because during the pandemic, as we were all sitting home and we were getting bombarded with conversations around fear and what if and control, I really started feeling a lot of dissonance inside of me. And it was a time that I went really inward again and decided to check in with myself and what was going on with me and why was I so triggered by that? Because I tend to be an empath. I tend to take on a lot of energy when people around me are expressing things. I'm usually so open and I'm receiving so much of what they're feeling that I start to pick up on their energy, and it's hard for me to control that. And I've had to learn to really block that type of energy from penetrating my energy field. And so I'm really aware of when something is feeling negative and I know it's not a good thing, checking in with myself on where I'm at and how I'm being impacted. And it's just something I want you to be aware of. And so I'm going to take you through a couple of steps to help you learn how to check in with yourself, your energy level, how you're feeling, and what's impacting you so that you can stay in control of your own emotions, your space, and protect your positive energy. So the first thing I like to say is if you're feeling any sort of dissonance in your body, any feeling of like irritability or anger or frustration or sadness even, it can be sadness, and we know sadness is level 1 energy. And it's okay to be sad, but you don't want to stay there for too long. So one of the things I try to do is really check in, what is this feeling I'm having and what level energy am I at right now? Once I'm aware of that, then I can tap into, okay, what triggered that emotion for me? What triggered that energy, that state of me being in? And where can I pinpoint something that created that in me? And if I can pinpoint that, maybe it was a post that someone put up that triggered me in some capacity, I can check in with that and then say, okay, why am I reacting this way to that? What about me is feeling triggered by that? It's not that person. It's not their message. It's how it's impacting me. And how can I shift my perspective on what that person said? Or do I just need to block them because it's not the type of information that I want coming through my energy field? So checking in with yourself, figuring out where that is coming from, where you got triggered, and checking in with whether that's something you need to fix within yourself or something that you need to maybe remove from your life. And that can be social media, that can be a person. Unfortunately, there are people that are walking around on this planet who don't even realize that they are living in negative energy all the time. They're the person that shows up to dinner complaining all the time. Woe is me. What's going on in the world? Did you see what happened on the news? All that stuff. And it's normal. We're not blaming this, but is that someone, if they're not willing to do the work to get out of that state, someone that you want to be surrounding yourself around all of the time? Because you have to protect your energy in this lifetime so that you can show up for the people in your life that you love with positive energy. You also want to protect your light. We all have a brilliant light inside of us that we were born with. You guys hear me say this all the time. Our unique gifts and talents to share with the world is our purpose. And with that comes this bright, shining light that you are meant to share with the world. And when others see that bright, shining light, sometimes it can hold a light up to them not feeling that light within themselves. And so you need to be very careful about protecting that light. I'm not saying don't shine bright. shine bright, but also protect it from those that may not know how to deal with your light. And hopefully they will get to a place in their lives where they see you shining so brightly that they want to go and figure out how to do that as well. Just be a light and be an example of how to live and how to operate. And so that comes from checking in with your energy and your intuition and your trust in your higher being and your higher power. So once you've gotten to that point where you know where that's coming from and you can pinpoint, okay, that person or that post or whatever is going on that triggered you is impacting me negatively, you can remove that from your life. And then you need to start thinking about how you do want to show up in the world. And the most important thing that you can do is create habits and rituals that start you off every single day with positive energy. For me, that's prayer in the morning. It's practicing gratitude. It's getting up and pouring my coffee before anyone's awake and having my 5 to 10 minutes by myself in the morning light, praying and just being present. For me, that gets me checked in to my core being right away. And so I start out with my energy first, as opposed to being reactive to what the world is coming at me with. That's my first thing that I do. I also always go on walks, especially throughout the day. If I'm getting triggered by something, if I'm frustrated with technology, you guys all know how I am about technology. It's one of my things that it gets to me. And I know that sometimes I just need to walk away, let it go, and go for a walk. Take a deep breath and let it go. Maybe your practice is meditation. Some people meditate. Some people go on simple walks. Some people listen to positive podcasts. Some people go on a run. Some people go do things that lights them up, that gets them in that positive state. And then the idea is to stay in that state for as long as possible. Protect that energy field. Do not let those energy vampires in to steal that energy away from you. So no matter where you are in life, you can absolutely do this on a regular basis, on a daily basis, checking in with yourself, removing the negative energy that's around you, focusing on the things that make you feel good and are positive, and then sharing your light with the world in such a way that lights up the world and allows you to protect that energy as well. I actually picture myself sometimes when I'm in an environment where I feel like there's eyes on me that may not be looking at me positively, especially if I'm public speaking or if I'm doing a podcast even, or if I'm, in a room full of people that I'm connecting with. If I feel there's someone that's looking at me with maybe disapproval or jealousy or whatever, I create an imaginary shield around myself, around my heart that protects my positive energy, that protects my light so that no one can drain that from me. So it's something super powerful to do. I'm also going to talk about cutting cords. If some of you have heard the term cutting cords before, this is a really powerful thing you can do to protect your energy. If there's someone in your life, especially someone that you love, that you have to see on a regular basis, but for whatever reason is creating negativity or dissonance in your world, in your field, in your subconscious, you can do what's called cutting cords. And with that, all you do is close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, get really centered and grounded. Picture this person in your mind's eye with love, with compassion, and with forgiveness for whatever it is that they're going through. And then take your hand and literally move it up and down across your solar plexus and start imagining that you're cutting the emotional cord with them. Okay, you still love them, you're sending them light, you're sending them love, but they can't penetrate that emotional field. We all have those people in our lives that for whatever reason, they are able to, even when we're not in their presence, create a negative connection between us. And cutting cords is the most powerful way that you can release that. You can still have them in your life. You can still have conversations and go out to dinner or do whatever, but you are cutting that energetic cord that they have with you that's pulling you into a negative dynamic. So I hope that makes sense and that's super clear to you. That's another trick that I do all the time when I'm feeling that dissonance within me. Like I said, I'm one of these people, and I know there's so many of us out there that want to live an open life, want to be present with everyone, want to draw people in, want to bring people in because we just love connection, but that also invites in a lot of negativity. And so you have to be really careful about how you connect and how you protect. So I hope this made sense to you guys. This is just something that's been on my mind lately, and I want this to be an exercise that you can practice on a daily basis. It's 10, 15 minutes of your day, checking in, not even, maybe 5 minutes, checking in with yourself when you're feeling that negative feeling. And if you guys want to check out the Energy Leadership Index, I will share that in the show notes. It's with the iPEC coaching industry where I was certified, and that's the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. And they have this diagram of the 7 levels of energy on their website, and you can check it out. It's pretty fascinating. And I loved being trained in it. It's been 15 years. And so I'm just kind of revisiting that level of my coach training. And because it's really prevalent right now that we stay in tune with our energy and what's happening out in the world. A lot of people like to say there's, kind of a spiritual war going on between light and dark. I'm trying to stay focused on energy and just being a light and positive in the world and staying connected to my higher power, my being, my belief in God, whatever you believe. It's all one. At the end of the day, we all believe in the same thing, which is the one who is God and the universe together. And so if you can stay connected to that and have your faith drive you forward every single day, you're going to be just fine. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here today, taking the time to listen to this episode. And like I said, please download it. Please share feedback. If you like this episode, let me know. DM me on social media, or I think there's even a way to do it in whatever app you're on, listening to the podcast. And just let me know what you're thinking about the show. Let me know some more ideas of things that you'd like me to share. I have some amazing guests coming up. I cannot wait to share with you in the next several weeks. But let me know if there's topics that you're interested in. DM me. Let me know things that you want to talk more about. Relationships. I have so much on that. There's so many things I talk about in my book that I'll be sharing more on the show, but please provide some feedback to me. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this episode beneficial. And if you feel compelled to do so, share it with a friend who might benefit too. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Reach out to me anytime on my website at jenmentasana.com.